Welcome, everyone, to the live stream. I am your host, your Heavenly Father, Kevin Williams. We're going to be watching Jenna Ellis on Newsmax. We don't know when that's going to be coming up. This is Newsmax right behind us here. And these are, well, apparently snowflakes in front of my face. Oh, this is quite a filter. Look at that. Welcome, everyone. I took a couple days off. I don't know. Have I broadcast since Christmas? I don't even know. I've been busy doing things. Got the song out. Thanks to everybody who helped me with the parody song. That I have talked to you guys since then. So it's good to see everybody here. Welcome aboard. Let me make sure that all the broadcasting is going as it should be going here. Looking good across the board. I see people on the Twitters as well. There's a couple watching on Facebook. Many people watching on the YouTube. Okay, good. Let's just check in right now with Newsmax because this is important. Let's find out what they're talking about. You're going to want to hear this as well. So Newsmax has a funny feed here. Let me see if I can bring this in.
Are steaming mad, obviously, about Mitch McConnell holding this all up. They want the increase right away. So do far too many weak-kneed Republicans. The two senators from Georgia, Loeffler and Perdue, both voiced their desire to pass the increase right away. But they want to do that for one reason and one reason only, to basically buy off the voters of Georgia. I would argue this is one election. If we don't take up election security and the biased social media companies, we may never win an election again. Not to mention, this is a bad deal, especially without...
Oh, this is about 230. He wants Section 230. Now, 230 is a section of a law that allows Facebook and Twitter, etc., to operate, or YouTube, for example, to operate and operate free of being responsible for what people are saying on their platform. So I could say something like, hey, guys, I need you to go and attack a baseball team in New Zealand. And now, if I said something terribly bad there, because I don't think they play baseball in New Zealand, they must. Somebody must play baseball in New Zealand. There's probably like 8 guys. There's enough for a full team. They played and a couple of guys show up with a cricket bat and they let them play anyway because, what else are you going to do? Anyway, it keeps Section 230 protects Facebook, YouTube, etc. Trump wants Section 230 put into the defense bill. Why? Why would you? What does it have to do with defense? Nothing. It has nothing to do with the defense bill, but Trump is running out of time. He's angry at Twitter and Facebook for censoring him and saying you're telling lies because they fact check him constantly. So he wants to take his revenge on Facebook and Twitter, just like he's taking his revenge on the American people for not voting him to office. The best way for him to do that is to get 230 legislation attached to the defense bill, because the defense bill always gets passed. It's been passed 59 years in a row now. It's always bipartisan. Everyone wants to fund the military, right? Because who wants a campaign ad against them the next time around saying, Kelly Loeffler hates the military. She doesn't support our troops. So, yeah, if they put it into that it has to get passed, it's going to be pork, the same kind of pork that he was so angry about in the COVID relief bill. He wants 230 rolled into the defense bill, which has nothing to do with it. But that's why he wants it in there.
To have a quick change of heart, what made you make that decision?
He was going to win. I mean, you understand the practicality of politics. I'd been running against him and trying to beat him for however long, 6, 8 months, however long it was.
So now, with the possibility that he could lose, he's off the bandwagon. Jump on the bandwagon when it's rolling in the right direction, jump off it when it's not. The maneuvering, the pandering, the jostling for the political upper hand is what makes Americans sick. And
I have no idea who this guy is, but he's obviously very, very pro-Trump. So he's a Newsmax version of Hannity.
In Washington and state legislatures across this country, that's...
No, it's got nothing to do with the $2,000 payout. They want it. Well, they want it anyway. Trump wants it anywhere, but he wants the 230 in the defense bill because the defense bill will pass. In fact, he vetoed the defense bill because it wasn't in there, hoping that they would then put it in there and send the defense bill back. But the defense bill has such overwhelming support, and nobody really wants to deal with 230. Nobody likes the fact that Twitter or Facebook will censor them or whatever. I mean, for example, YouTube and Facebook both said that I can't boost. Who's this guy? I don't even know who this guy is.
And then by Russian equipment, military equipment with, you have all sorts of these other things completely unrelated to the COVID-19 pandemic stuffed in there. And I applaud the president for bringing that to light, which is why a lot of us Republicans, not as many as I thought, voted against it.
Yeah.
Okay, so they want it in there anywhere, but originally it was in the defense bill because Trump wanted it in the defense bill, but the defense bill is going to get it's going to get overridden. The veto is going to get overridden anyway. So many people would still like the 230 in there somewhere because 230 allows Twitter and Facebook to look at the things Republicans say and say, no, that's a lie. And that's not good for the Republican Party. And the Republican Party is treading water as it is. Trump could end the Republican Party. I said 8 years ago that a Republican would never win the presidency again. And I stand by that. Even though Trump won, Trump is not a Republican. But the actual Republicans are down to about 20% of what's left of the Republican Party. Otherwise, it's all pro-Trump idiots. Yeah, so one of the things Mitch is thinking of doing is putting together a special package bill and then passing or voting on that. Bernie Sanders wants them to vote just on the clean $2,000, that's it. Because that has already been passed by the House. Now, if the Senate comes up with something else, then, or they throw an amendment on that, then they can vote on that and say, well, it's got the 230 in there. Trump will sign this one way or the other. But Trump wants to sign the 2,000 anyway, so none of it makes any sense. At least he says he wants to sign it now. Who knows if he's going to want to sign it whenever it actually gets to his desk. Just like he was absolutely not going to sign the $600 bill, and then suddenly on Sunday, after many people had missed their week, he decides to sign it. Oh, you know what? While we're doing this, let me turn this on. I will check my unemployment and see if I'm going to miss a week because of this all.
Show some courage on your behalf and others to know we've got to stand up, which then brings me back to the legislatures across the country. They've got to do something here, and they've got to do something fast.
Well, I've been saying all along that Georgia, their legislature that's led by Republicans, should call a special session to address these absentee mail-in ballots. Here in Florida, you're not allowed to send in an absentee or mail-in ballot unless it's verified and you are a registered voter. That's not what happened in Pennsylvania. That's not what happened in Wisconsin. That's not what happened in Michigan. And that's not what's going to happen in Georgia if they don't fix it. And that's part of the problem is, you know, a lot of us claim that there was fraud and abuse, and then the mainstream media says, oh, there's no fraud. We're just counting the ballots. Well, there's no verification on the back end that these ballots actually came from registered voters who are qualified electors to vote in their states. That's the challenge. We don't have that challenge in Florida because we have a requirement that you be a registered
Complete nonsense.
country, an elector in the state of Florida, and go through all the parameters that the Florida legislature has put in place. So we know that the people that are voting absentee, we know that Greg Stubbe in Sarasota voted because there's a barcode and the signatures match. That's not what's happened in these other states, and unfortunately,
That's not true at all. The signatures have to match in Georgia.
these mail-in ballots in Georgia.
Yeah. No, it's not. You know,
Yeah.
it comes down to a very simple task.
Yeah.
Here. You had ballots that came in way too late after they were state constitutionally mandated. They shouldn't be coming in, and yet they were still counted. You throw all those
Not true.
that you mentioned, the president has a clear victory here. Congressman Greg Stubbe, great to have you on the program. It's the first time. I hope to get you back.
All right, thanks. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Happy New Year. All right, moving now to the fight to keep President Trump in the Oval Office. Hearings in Arizona and Georgia are set for tomorrow, and today the Trump campaign filed another case with the Supreme Court, this one arguing the Wisconsin Supreme Court got it wrong and 50,000 illegal absentee ballots should be thrown out. The president's attorneys are asking the Supreme Court to take up this case, obviously before January 6th, when Congress takes up the certification of the Electoral College votes. To discuss this, a member of President Trump's legal team, President Trump's senior legal advisor and attorney, Jenna Ellis. Jenna, great to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks.
Okay, good
All
start.
right, Jenna. So look, here we go, another case. It seems to me.
I don't know if the pause is going to work on New Year. I can't go back. It doesn't look like. I just make sure I don't want to pause it too long. Hold on.
In a dereliction of duty and fidelity to the U.S. Constitution by refusing to take up cases that, of course, the president and the campaign absolutely should have standing, as well as the Texas case that was original jurisdiction in the Supreme Court. So obviously the Trump legal team is going to continue to fight because we care about election integrity, and we're going to continue to push these issues through every legal and constitutionally viable avenue. And so this particular case, obviously we are about a week out from January 6th, and we need to keep making sure that the American people know what actually happened here. And if this election and all of the fraud is not corrected by January 6th, this will have been a failure not of the Trump legal team, not a failure of the evidence, but rather a failure of the Supreme Court, the judicial branch, the entire way down. And it will have mainly also been a failure of the state legislatures. They don't need a judicial order
or it was a failure to commit the fraud that wasn't there. That's also a possibility.
Required of them to make sure that the manner in which electoral delegates are selected has to be according to that which each General Assembly sets. We know that in 6 states, those laws were absolutely flagrantly violated. And so when these General Assemblies that are Republican-led are not willing to correct this, that is a failure of the GOP in these states, and that is something that the American people should not stand for.
No.
Attacking the hand that feeds you.
Ballots came in after the state deadline, and they were still counted. It's open and shut. In Wisconsin, these 50,000 absentee ballots that are in question, is that a similar situation? And that was a 4-3 vote, Wisconsin Supreme Court. You had the Chief Justice of the Wisconsin Supreme Court voting on President Trump's side on this. What is the situation with those ballots, real quick, Jenna?
Yeah, and so this is something where even the Chief Justice of the Wisconsin Supreme Court dissented in that case. They want to hear this on the merits, and that's where the Supreme Court of the United States really needs to intervene. And rather than go through some procedural hoop and kick this out like every other court has done and what the Supreme Court has done so far with these electoral challenges, they need to look at this on the merits. Bush v. Gore is precedent here for electoral challenges, and they need to recognize that President Trump absolutely gets the same opportunity to argue his case that President George W. Bush did in 2000, and to treat him differently than every other sitting president in every other election is manifestly unfair according to due process in our Constitution.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Look, this is a time when people can make history. This is when you stand up and show courage, and you go down in the history books as someone who fought for America. Nobody right now is doing it. I know you and the team are, Jenna, and we thank you for that. And look, let's hope 2021 is a great year. Go win fighting. I know you always do, Jenna. Thank you, and happy New Year.
That's it?
Happy New Year, Grant. Thanks so much.
That's the whole interview?
All right, you got it. Coming up.
Dude can't have that many other people lined up to be on his show right now. It's 6:14 and he's done with the big interview? What? Okay, so I just wanted to cover that. I was actually taking notes because I didn't want to pause it because I didn't know what would happen if I paused it, whether it was going to continue on or not. I don't watch Newsmax enough. I want to say that last time we did this, we were able to pause it and then continue right from where we left off. Let's find out if that's the case, actually.
During any
Nope, it jumps ahead on us. So you can't really pause. You just stop watching it for a while while it continues. So Newsmax really should work on their user platform. So she was talking about Bush v. Gore making it a precedent that you bring cases towards before Bush v. Gore. What Bush v. Gore established was that, yes, if you have a disagreement and you want to appeal from the Supreme Court of a state, that's already established. That's what has always been the case. You lose at the state Supreme Court, you take it to the Supreme Court decides to hear it. What it established was, yes, we will hear election cases, even though that's been done before. So what it established was, hey, guys, you need to do this by Safe Harbor Day. Okay? Fine. We don't, you know what? This is what we're saying. We don't care what count. We don't care who's doing what. Safe Harbor Day. This has to be done. That's it. That's what the law says. And Safe Harbor Day that year, Bush was ahead by 537 votes. And so Bush was declared the winner because the Supreme Court said you're done. Once you get to Safe Harbor Day, this year, Safe Harbor Day was December 8th. We are now 21 days after December 8th. And so we're into something called latches, which is basically too late. So the Supreme Court, I'd be very surprised if the Supreme Court take this. They may take it just to hear it. But here's what happened in Wisconsin. There were a number of different cases in Wisconsin. The Republicans were upset that there were voter boxes put out, some ballot boxes, which they aren't in state law, but the Republicans are saying, oh, hey, no, or sorry, the Trump campaign is saying, hey, those ballot boxes, that's ballot harvesting, which is illegal. But ballot harvesting is where a private citizen takes a bunch of votes and delivers them, which is legal in many states. In some states it's not, because theoretically you could take the votes and you could change some, or you could open them up, or you could throw them away or whatever. So some states allow ballot harvesting, some people don't. It's just ballot collection. But here's the thing. It was the counties that were doing the mailboxes, the ballot boxes. So it's not really ballot harvesting, but the Republicans were claiming that. What else was there? They also were upset because they had voting in the park. So in Milwaukee County, they had, hey, bring your vote down to the park. Register to vote. You can vote. And so the Republicans were saying, no, you can't do that, because you can only give your vote, you can mail your vote, or you can give it to a clerk. That's it. Here's the thing. At the park, at the Saturdays in the park, it was... they were clerks collecting them. You were giving them to the clerk. You just weren't doing it at a voting office, which there's nothing in the law that said it had to be in a voting office. There was another thing as well. So there were four different things the Republicans were claiming, and I could look it up if anybody cares. But basically, here's what happened. The majority, one of the Republicans crossed over and voted with the minority Democrats. And so 4 versus 3, 4 of them said, no, that's ridiculous. We're not touching it. The other 3, on the one thing that was actually ruled on, said, we're not going to touch it either. So that was basically a 7-0 loss on that. On the other 3 issues, the court decided, no, latches. This is too late. For example, with the ballot drop boxes, everyone has known about those for months. The time to have an issue with it is before the election. And they didn't do anything about it before the election. So if you had a problem with it, I mean, here are the rules. Here, the county says, here's the rules for how to vote. If you've got a problem with it, you can't wait until you lose to see if you should do something about it. You have to do something about it to begin with. Now, the remaining judges, the 3 Republicans, including the Chief Justice there, didn't necessarily have a problem with the cases themselves. They had a problem with just declaring it latches. So it was more a discussion of legal theory than it was the merits of the case. So that's, yeah, I'm latches intolerant as well. Ooh. So, how's everybody else doing, by the way? Let's see what's going on here in the Newsmax, just in case they're doing something else of interest to us. You guys want to watch a little Kayleigh McEnany from last night?
Military construction funds to build the wall. Democrats didn't like that. That's what this is all.
Okay, radical policies in defense bill. Now they're upset about the defense bill because Trump turned down the defense bill because it didn't have 230. Plus, he didn't want to upset a bunch of dead traitors. I do not understand naming army bases after Confederate generals. You will notice that I haven't checked this out to be absolutely certain. I am 99% certain that the United Kingdom does not have any military bases named after Hitler. I am almost, 85% certain. Somebody can check that out if they want to. Somebody living in the UK, if we've got one. Green Room, you're close. You're in Ireland. You're not in Northern Ireland, right? You're in actual Ireland, not fake Ireland, up in Northern Ireland. And if there's somebody here from Northern Ireland, they're so upset with me right now. You stupid git. So, why we have military bases named after... Those are the traitors. Those are the bad guys. They're the reason there were 600,000 American dead. That's like less than 2 COVIDs when you think about it. So really no big deal. Marcy says the DC hotel that the Proud Boys booked canceled their rooms. Canceled everybody's rooms. They just said, you know what? From the 4th through the 6th, we're closing. We're shut for the safety of our patrons. And that really upset the Proud Boys. Oh, well. What else? Anybody else have any questions beyond that? Anybody have something to talk about? Because I will pull up in Hannity from last night and we'll watch Kayleigh McEnany. Diddly-dee, potatoes. Boo. Here we go. Oh, do I have it up already? No, this is Fox and Friends from this morning. Hold on, let me pull up Hannity. Get out of here. The Trump Hotel has acknowledged Biden's win by unfreezing their rooms and discounting them by 25%. Yeah, no, everyone knows. Everybody with any sense knows that Biden won. This is just a fundraising ploy. I get multiple emails and multiple texts every single day from the Trump campaign saying that they need me to fight. They need me to have courage. Trump is seeking courage. He also needs a brain and a heart. He is the Wizard of Odd. Hannity. Speaking of odd, show me some in Hannity. Okay, Hannity from last night. Hannity's on vacation, but they did have a guest host last night. Let's check out and see what they had to do. Yeah, there's an Irish comedian that I saw at some point. It's Dan Bongino. He's just terrible. Just terrible. Dan, if you're watching, have me on your show. I would love to. You know what? I don't even think it would be a debate. I would love to just have a conversation with you. Just everything this man says is like, what? I would spend the entire time laughing, I think. I would be giggling so much. There's no risk on January 6th. Absolutely none. There's nothing. I'll explain January 6th. So, this has happened before. If you've been watching a couple of times, I mentioned. In 1876, there were 4 states. This is in the Reconstruction period after the American Civil War. There were 4 states, hey, we're Confederates still. So they sent alternate electors to Washington for the hearing, it's not called a hearing, for the Electoral College to vote and present in front of Congress. And so at that point, they said, well, this is silly. Something has to be done about this because we can't have this. So in 1887, the Electoral Count Act was passed, and that allowed if one senator and one congressperson, at the time it was congressmen, object to an elector's vote, then they can protest it. They can challenge it, and then the houses or the chambers separate. The Senate talks about it for about an hour, and the House talks about it for an hour. And if both chambers vote that, yes, that challenge will be upheld, then the electors' votes are cast out. But they're not replaced with another group. Another section of the U.S. law allows for, and I can pull it up if you guys want to see it, but just trust me on this. If you don't trust me, let me know and I'll post it. But basically says, well, it doesn't basically say. It says that the only valid electors, in order to prevent states from sending 2 electors, the only valid electors are the electors set forth on Safe Harbor Day, which is 6 days before the Electoral College vote, which we already had this year. That Safe Harbor Day, that's 6 days before the Electoral College voting, that was on December 8th. Those are the only valid electors per law. And it's very specific in the law that it says the only ones that are legitimate are the ones appointed by the laws enforced on that day. They can't just change the laws afterwards. Everyone's calling for, the state legislatures have to have a special session. It's too late. Latches, my friend. Latches. The Republicans deserve 40 of them, but they do not get any alternate electors. Not a thing. It's an alternate fact. Marcy, did you get Kahlua pork in Hawaii? That is so cliche. Hey, Hey, Tree, good to see you. Congratulations, David, on being first. Hi, Allison. Hey, Steph. Who else haven't I said hello to? Hey, at random. Hey, I saw producer Joanna in her earlier, if you're still around. I'm cliche. Well, that's the pot calling the kettle black.
Communist Party.
Green Room says robbing Pence, then can't rob Kevin. No, there's nothing Pence can do. The Gomer. Hey, Leslie. Super Hearts, you're tier 1. 66 Super Hearts from Leslie. Hey, kids, if you want to get into on this, the chat, this chat window over there, you can't click on that. The blue one, the dark blue one, like my shirt today, which is dark blue with this filter. You can't click on that, but whatever platform you're on, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, if you're chatting in that room, it goes through. So if you want to get on the chat over there, that's the way to do that. Fox News is a lot of fake. There's less and less actual news on Fox News. They're changing pretty rapidly here. And Trump's base is deserting them because they're just not all on board. Hi, Vegan Life. Good to see you.
Of China. Joining us now with reaction is Kayleigh Mack.
I just someday I have to make a collection of her. Every time she hears her name, she's like a dog. With a big smile. Watch. There won't be a smile, and then he's suddenly... Ready?
Yeah,
here we go.
And as the free...
let's turn him up. He's quiet for some reason. Oh, that's why. Hold on. I'm going to delay this for a second because I don't want to blast you guys. Here we go.
Beacon just uncovered in 2012 on Twitter. Ossoff encouraged everyone to follow XH News,
Here we go.
which is a propaganda outlet for the Communist Party of China. Joining us now with reaction is Kayleigh McEnany. Kayleigh, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Did he just call her Kelly Macaroni?
2012 on Twitter, Ossoff encouraged everyone to follow XH News, which is a propaganda outlet for the Communist Party of China. Joining us now with reaction is Kayleigh McEnany. Kayleigh, welcome.
Almost called her Kelly Macaroni. Almost did. Dan, if you're watching, have me on your show. I will Skype in.
Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us tonight. These are pretty stunning revelations tonight about John Ossoff. Now, listen, we've known Raphael Warnock's history. I don't need to say it about Raphael Warnock. Just listen to Raphael Warnock talk about Raphael Warnock. How do you gauge the state of the race right now?
You know what? I'd rather just sing Christmas carols with you. So if you all just sing along at home. Our cheeks are nice and rosy and comfy cozy are we. We're cuddled up together like the birds of a feather should be. Tiddly, tiddly. Okay, we'll do this.
How do you feel the candidates stack up? Do we have a decent shot down there in either or both of them?
Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. Let's go. Let's go find a hoe. We'll pay her $10 for a You know what? I should really probably get back to the
races.
Yes, we do. These candidates, you cannot get worse than John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. Look, the things that you just listed out should be disqualifying. But on top of all of that, especially with Raphael Warnock, on top of everything you just listed, you have a guy who invited Fidel Castro to come speak.
He did not.
At his church, who has praised Marxism, who has praised Jeremiah Wright, who has said anti-Semitic and anti-American things, who has said you cannot serve God in the military, and who has said our...
Well, that's God. Yeah, that's in the Bible. So you can only serve one master. That's in the Bible.
Police officers are thugs. Anyone.
I mean, he's a minister. He's a minister. And yeah, sometimes police officers are thugs. That does happen. Just ask George Floyd. Oh, you can't because he's fucking dead. She's pretty. Smile. I can't smile. I can't. When I try and do that, I got more bottom teeth. Smile at home. Smile at home for me. Tell me, I feel like I'm all bottom teeth when I smile like that. Is that usual for everybody? I feel like I'm a 7-year-old smiling in their first school picture. Is that everybody, or is that just me that does, like, it's mostly bottom teeth?
One of those things individually is disqualifying. In totality, this is someone who should never be a candidate for the United States Senate. And John Ossoff as well, 83% of his donations from out of the state of Georgia, hiding donations from a Chinese media-run company. These are people who are...
A Chinese media-run? not a Chinese-run media company? Is that, I don't know, maybe the Chinese media runs it.
Are compromised by China.
Okay, Leslie's a top smiler, so Leslie's like a normal human being.
We can't have another Eric Swalwell. Therefore, we cannot have Jon Ossoff. And Perdue and Loeffler are the only palatable choice to the American people and to Georgians.
You know, and the thing I said about Warnock, I meant, you know, don't take Dan Bongino's word for Warnock. Just listen to Warnock himself. Kaylee, this stuff is all on video. The Fidel Castro thing.
This thumb is all on video? What did he say?
Loeffler are the only palatable choice to the American people and to Georgians.
Hey, Slick Chick, thank you very much. Just that it's super cute. Looks like the little kids in a school picture, right? That's what. Thank you very much, by the way. Slick Chick super chatting, donating $9.99 US, and I love that because I'd be like $10. Come on, that's just. But $9.99. Guess there was another slander lawsuit. Not sure what you're talking about, Bob. But yeah, if you want to donate, thank you for reminding me, Slick Chick. I appreciate it. PayPal, Venmo, those are right there. I don't know why there's a white line through there, but there you go. And then if you want to become a patron as well, you can become one at kevinleefather.com. Lots more going on. Going to be doing a lot of fact checks, hopefully, between now and the Georgia election. Hey, kids, if you have some Georgia fact checks, let me know, because I would love to get into those. I'm going to start having to do some research on that. German Herman, yes, you did. Thank you, German Herman, for some PayPal.
You know, and the thing I said about Warnock, I meant, you know, don't take Dan Bongino's word for Warnock. Just listen to Warnock himself. Kaylee, this stuff is all on video. The Fidel Castro.
Yeah, he said this thumb is all on video.
Thing. I mean, you know, socialism worked so well for the Democrats in Florida in the 2020 election, where they got annihilated and lost, you know, double-digit percentage points down in Miami-Dade here in Florida, where they used to do much better. But he's on tape. This stuff's all on video. We don't have to speculate about it. It's out there for you to see. Welcoming Fidel Castro. This guy was a murderer in your church. You can go see it on video. That's all out there.
That's right. This is next level leftism. It's all out there. This is another AOC, and perhaps even worse than AOC, if that's even possible. And on top of that, you've got this scandal at this church camp that he ran, where this victim has spoken out, who this horrible thing happened to him, where he was doused with urine and locked outside the camp doors. It is absolutely
horrible. That's all Trump wants.
Despicable. This individual should not be running for any sort of office. And this is why, Dan, it is so important. There are flaws in Georgia's election system. Make no mistake about it. The consent decree by Stacey Abrams is horrible. It has not been an election with integrity when you look at President Trump's election there. But that's why we have to overwhelm the system. The answer is more Trump voters showing up to embrace these candidates, not fewer. We cannot, the stakes are too high. We cannot have these two individuals anywhere near the levers of power.
The lovers of power. I know who loves power. Here's what happened. This is PolitiFact, by the way. Fact-checked on this. Fidel Castro, the late communist leader of Cuba, spoke at the Abyssinian Baptist Church in New York City in 1995. He was welcomed by cheers from a crowd of 1,300 and a hug from Harlem's Democratic Congressman Charles Rangel. I remember Charles Rangel. You guys remember Charles? We have one of the great leaders of the world with us today, said the church's pastor, the Reverend Calvin Butts, who was then interrupted by more cheers. The Reverend Raphael Warnock was then a youth pastor at Abyssinian. He was not on the dais at that time. So, no, he did not invite Castro to his church.
Kaylee, can I get a candid assessment from you where we are right now with the 2020 election?
Oh, I forgot to mention Kaylee's got something's going on right there. She does. This is her style. I don't even know what that is. Like, you've got a neck and then there's a tear of some kind. There's something missing. Right? I don't know if she gets a discount on that or what, but she just loves this thing happening.
Listen, we all know there was fraud. The only question is what level of fraud. There's no question there was.
There were 3 fraudulent cases in Pennsylvania. We know that. All of whom voted for Trump. Or no, so two of them were dead parents, people trying to vote for Trump. One of them was a guy who showed up, voted, then came back with sunglasses on and tried to vote for his son. At least 2 of them have been charged. By the way, Tree, have you, Sarah, have you heard, has there been a third charge? So they charged the guy who showed up with the sunglasses trying to vote twice. They charged at least one of the guys who tried to vote for his dead mom. And I don't know if they charged the other one yet.
Fraud in the election, okay? No sane person would say otherwise. The question is,
I guess I'm insane.
What level of fraud? Now, so far, I see three potential avenues here. We have Pennsylvania, who just rewrote their election rules unconstitutionally. You have
Incorrect.
Unprecedented levels of low rejection rates in an election with all these mail-in ballots. And you
Nope, that's also not true. Everything that all of the rejection rates make perfect mathematical sense. There's nothing surprising there.
You have also these odd roll-off numbers where people voted unprecedented numbers for Biden at the top of the ticket, but nobody else beneath the ticket. Where do we stand here on the 2020?
That I haven't actually. I did look at that. I haven't been able to find any evidence of that. And there would have to be a lot of it. Like, there's nothing wrong with people voting just for one candidate and then leaving the rest of the ballot blank. That's a fairly common thing, which is why often in any county, just go to your county, look at the number of votes for president, and then look at the number of votes for anything underneath that, be it Senate, Congress, dog catcher, or whatever. By the way, there are places that do vote for dog catcher, so it's a stupid expression, but there are places where that happens. But there's always more votes for president than there are for other things.
20 election and some, at least evidence we have of malfeasance or misfeasance.
Sure. Look, for 10 months, this president sounded the alarm bells about mass mail-in voting. This was not something that was happening behind the scenes. It's something that happened in plain sight.
And then what you're saying there is they had 10 months. If they had a problem with things happening in these different places, they should have brought cases against them. And they did, and lost almost every single time, but they did not bring case against the Wisconsin case that we just watched earlier with Jenna Ellis. And so now they're too late.
You had Democrat secretaries of states lawlessly rewrite the laws, use a pandemic to create
The secretaries of states did not rewrite the laws. There are rules and there are laws. They're two different things. The law says you're in charge. You're the bureaucracy. Write the rules. And they write the rules.
an electoral epidemic with mass mail-out voting, elimination of signature
There's no such thing as electoral epidemic. It's not a thing.
match, allowing blue counties to cure their ballots, but not red counties. This happened.
Yeah, no one rewrote any laws unless it was the legislature, like in Pennsylvania, where they rewrote a law, and actually they wrote a new law, 77, and then tried to sue. They wrote it in 2019. The Republicans passed it. The Democrats passed it, but a majority of Republicans passed this law. Then the Republicans, after the 2020 election, had a problem with the law that they wrote back in 2019, and they took it to the Supreme Court, because that in the law it says you can only take it to the Supreme Court if you have a problem with this. The Supreme Court looked at it and said, okay, but right after where you said you had to go to the Supreme Court, you didn't start at district court, you go right to the Supreme Court. You also said that you had to challenge it within 180 days. And that was written in 2019. We're not even going to look at it. It's just utter stupidity.
In the places where it needed to happen.
Jenna's been around, and Jenna's been squawking a lot. I follow her on Twitter, and she's been on Newsmax and OAN as far as I understand, but I think the regular media is just bored with her. Even Fox is like, she's one of the crazy ones. And it's almost depressing to their audience to have her keep coming on. Rudy hasn't been on Fox in forever. Rudy claimed that he can't get on Fox.
Which is why the 4 metros, the only 4 where Joe Biden outperformed Hillary Clinton, were Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Atlanta, and Detroit.
No, this is complete nonsense. This actually derives from an article in Town Hall, which is a conservative website. They were quoting a British pollster who you've never heard of. He was saying, oh, look at this. Right after the election, he did the math. And look at all these places where Biden underperformed. All of these cities, except these 4 cities. No, Biden outperformed Hillary in almost every single metropolitan area. He got way more votes. Plus, he kicked ass in the suburbs. But pick an area. Los Angeles, Chicago, Miami, Seattle, Biden outperformed Hillary. She's saying, no, it's just the 4 places and that's what makes it suspicious, because you're like, well, wait, he lost in all these other areas, but he outperformed in the swing states, in Philadelphia, in Atlanta, in Detroit, in Milwaukee. Wow. I guess the Democrats really did rig this thing. Here's the irony of it, though. He actually had 1,000 fewer votes than Hillary in Detroit. He underperformed in Detroit. So even this grand, they cheated specifically where they had to cheat. That's where the fraud happened. They didn't. If they were trying to do better than Hillary in Detroit, they failed miserably. All that cheating going on in Wayne County, it didn't work.
4 he needed in the 4 key states. So this happened, Dan, but it happened in plain sight. It is very difficult to undo on the back end, and this was a real failure.
If it happened in plain sight, then one of the court cases would have succeeded by now.
Of our judiciary system to untangle this and to allow it to happen on the front end.
Kayleigh, can I get a quick comment from you on this, too? Don't you find it odd, you having dealt with the media and been on other networks before, how, liberal media is pushing for a quick concession here? These are the same people who pushed the pee-pee hoax and the collusion hoax to us for 4 years and still haven't conceded the 2016 election. So
Hillary conceded the night of the election.
You find that a little odd, like I do?
Oh, yeah, and they actually won Pulitzers off of their fake Russia collusion hoax over at the New York Times.
The Russian collusion happened. That's been determined by the Mueller report. That's been determined by the Senate Intel Committee, which was led by the GOP. Mueller was a lifelong Republican, probably still is. I'm assuming he's still alive.
In the Washington Post, it is odd that we can't ask questions. It was a never-before-tried election system that went into place here. We can't ask questions.
That's complete nonsense. We've had universal mail-in voting. Last time around, 3 states had it. This time around, 9 states had it. But we know from past voting, for example, in 2018, there were multiple states who had it, more than 3. Utah, a Republican state, votes entirely by mail. They've done it before. This is not something used for the first time. It's fine. And in Georgia, it wasn't entirely by mail. In Pennsylvania, it wasn't entirely by mail. In Michigan, it wasn't entirely by. In Milwaukee, it was. This is the same system they've been using for 100 years.
But they can peddle fake news, false stories, conspiracies, and win Pulitzers when it's all said and done.
No, it's pathetic. Hey, Kayleigh, thanks.
He's right. This is pathetic. Good job, Dan.
We always appreciate your comments. Thanks for coming on. This month, millions of Americans traveled to Florida in search of warm weather, beautiful beaches, and most important...
Okay, I'm searching for signs of intelligent life on Fox is what I'm doing. It's 5:45, so Tucker's still on. I think that's it, kids. Anybody else want to talk about anything? Otherwise, we'll wrap things up here. No, they never want to recount Hawaii. I don't remember the exact numbers. I kind of want to do a video like you don't believe the numbers. It's not mathematically impossible that Joe Biden won. Oh, how could he get more votes than Obama, blah, blah, blah. If you take the states, for example, Washington and Oregon and Colorado, where there was all mail-in voting, so it's apples to apples between 2016, 2019, Biden kicked Hillary's ass. Now, that's a stupid thing to say because Biden wasn't against Hillary. But it does show in states where the Democrats did not need to commit fraud at all. I mean, Hillary was, 60+% in Washington last time? Biden won 30% more votes than he did. Do not quote me on that number. Round about that area. I'll say 30-ish. When I did look up the numbers. Biden got more votes everywhere. 81 million votes. Now, they're saying, how could he possibly get They would have had to cheat in almost every single state. I haven't looked it up because it's 50 different states. But I would wager that Biden actually ended up getting more votes than Hillary in every single state in the union. So they're saying that the Democrats somehow cheated in every single state in the union. If anybody wants to waste their time, you can verify that. You know what I need is I need somebody that works at a newspaper that would get paid to do something like that so that I don't have to do the research. Does anybody work at a newspaper? No? Can someone get a job at a newspaper? And if you try and do that, my advice is don't. Press is dying. Shh. Sorry, guys, I'm chewing ice. Ice? Maybe. Doom, 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 doom. Are we doing a New Year's Eve movie night? You know what, Marcy? We might. When is that? Is that Thursday night? Thursday night? You guys want to do a movie night? Yeah, that's the 31st. I'm not going to be doing anything else, I don't think, so maybe we will. I'll check in with Kevin Lee Daughter and see what she's up to. Kevin Lee, do you think Trump will attend the inauguration of Biden? Nope. I think he's going to hold a counter rally to raise funds. I think that's what he's going to do. I think he's going to be doing something else at the exact same time. Now, could I be wrong? Absolutely. This is Trump. There's no logic or reason to anything he does. Everything is by impulse. But that's not true. You can predict that if he's attacked or feels attacked, he will strike back with nonsense. Like today, where the states have only given out 2 million. Remember, it was going to be 20 million vaccines in arms. 20 million vaccines by the end of the month. We're at 2. We might get to 3 in the last 3 days. What kind of movie should we watch on New Year's Day? Was that Love Actually? Was that a New Year's movie? Or is that a Christmas movie? That's more of a Christmas movie, right? Does anybody have ideas for... hey, 20K? The lockdowns are not the problem. The problem is that the government is not supporting you. The government that you've been supporting all these years. I'm assuming you're in the United States. I don't know. I'm not a Democrat, Diane. But if you have an opinion, rather than insult the other person's opinion, tell us your opinion and come up with reasons that you have that opinion, and then we can talk. Anyway, ideas for Wonder Woman 84? Nah, it's not worth it. Groundhog Day would be fun, but that might be better on, Arbor Day. I don't live in Pennsylvania. I live in CA, not PA. Oh, When Harry Met Sally is a New Year's Day movie. You're right. Any other New Year's Eve movie? Yeah, in LA. Hold on, let me look that up while we're talking about it. Said my friend Jill a ball. Anybody else remember Free to Be You and Me? Did everybody have that album growing up? Let's see. What am I looking at? Oh, yeah, New Year's Eve movies. New Year's Eve movies. You know what I watched last night with Kevin Lee Daughter? We watched Wreck-It Ralph. That is a clever movie. I'd forgotten it completely so many years ago that I watched it. So good. And Jane Lynch is fantastic in it. And the actor who plays Kenneth on 30 Rock, he's great. Sarah Silverman, the entire cast. Sarah Silverman is adorable. Who has a New Year's Eve date? Nobody has a New Year's Eve date. An Affair to Remember, but it's depressing. Well, we're not going to watch that then. Harry Met Sally. There's a movie called New Year's Eve. Trading Places. Funny. The Holiday. Don't know anything about it. Something called Carol. Oh, Poseidon. Snowpiercer. About Time. Sleepless in Seattle is a New Year's Eve movie? I don't remember that. I guess. Is it? 30. Phantom Thread. Rent. Sex and the City. 4 Rooms. Mermaids. Ocean's 11 is a New Year's Eve. I think these are just movies. Okay, here we go. Oprah Magazine. This is the definitive list. Hold on. Harry Met Sally, the very first one listed here. Okay. View. Oh, they want me to view a gallery. A Lot Like Love with Ashton Kutcher and Amanda Peet. Never heard of it. An American in Paris. That might be a watch. That's a classic right there. Trading Spaces. I would watch. It's been so long since I watched Trading Spaces. Maybe. About a Boy. I loved About a Boy. I loved About a Boy. Maybe we should watch About a Boy. Sunset Boulevard. I don't know if I've ever seen Sunset Boulevard. High School Musical, which I have seen. The Godfather Part 2, Carol, Money Train. Oh, I remember Money Train. It was all right. Happy New Year, Charlie Brown. 200 Cigarettes. Paul Rudd, Kate Hudson, Martha Plimpton, Ben Affleck, Dave Chappelle, Christine Ricci, and more get dolled up for what is going to be the best party of the year. Wow. 1981. Hold on, let me hit watch now and see where it is. Hold on, guys. I think this might... I can't order 200 cigarettes. I mean, I can't just... It's not available for streaming, but if we pool our resources, we can get it on DVD for only... For those of you who can't see it because it's too small on your feed. Hold on. Only $115.21. So, let's all get together here, people. PayPal me now. $121 and $115. I just saved you $6.21, and we can get ourselves a DVD. Hold on. Even better. We can get it used. We can get it used. I'll pull that up so we can find out how much it is used. Used, we can get it for only $256 and a penny. But I know if we get to $256, I bet you Marcy comes up with that extra penny. She's always coming, like at the last, hey, we need, boom. Marcy will just, she'll have to check with Maurice first. She can't just go donating a penny out of nowhere. Let's see. Yeah, this is just not a movie that's available anywhere, and I don't know why. That's really weird. I've never seen that. Usually if there's a movie, you can get it. A classic, please? Maybe we'll do that. So let's go on with the movies. Oh, here, I'll bring it over so you guys can also enjoy the pictures. Rent. Never seen Rent. If I'm going to watch Rent, I'm going to go to the musical. About Time, a delightful British romantic comedy you may have missed. Rachel McAdams, Donald Gleason, and as Mary and Tim, a couple whose story continues to be rewritten thanks to Tim's ability to travel through time. Time Traveler New Year's story. So that's a possibility. What was the other? Trading Spaces, Sunset Boulevard. Now, if one of the producers, if producer Joanna or Rich Mac or somebody's in the room and they pull rank, if one of the producers says we're watching this, then as the talent, that's what I got to do. That's what we got to do. While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock. I don't remember this movie. Must have seen it. What year? It doesn't say. Okay. Sex and the City, the movie. We're not watching that. Bridget Jones' Diary. I've never seen it. Yes, executive producer does count for something. That's right. At random. Ghostbusters 2. We'll move on. Someone Like You. After the Thin Man. That would be worth a watch, actually. Thank you very much. Marcy with a super sticker. Pair character turning around, waving his hand, saying, hey, you, while lowering his glass. Well, hold on. I've got to see that in real time. Let's view the event here. We'll bring it up over here. Come on. We'll skip the ads. Bring it up over here. Quiet. Shut this guy up. There it is. See? There's the pair character. I'll zoom in for you here. So we can all watch Marcy's. Hey, you. He's a pair. Oh, wait. Don't go away. Hold on. Come back. He's a pear character turning around, waving his hand, saying, "Hey, you," while lowering his glasses. That's exactly what it is. I love it. Thank you for the pear character. Joanna's a producer, and she says Sunset Boulevard Friday night. Hey, producer Rich Mack is here. Producer Rich Mack, we're talking about what movies to watch on, we're thinking about doing New Year's Eve. If you're going to be available New Year's Eve, I know you have a family and a life, so I don't know whether or not you're available. So producer Joanna says Sunset Boulevard. Is that a New Year's movie? I don't even know. I can't remember Sunset Boulevard at all. I at some point in my life I must have seen it, right? You would think, but I don't. Hold on, let's go back to the list. So After the Thin Man, yeah. So well, maybe Mermaids with Cher. I'd love to watch Monty Python on the Holy Grail. Maybe another time we'll do that. You've got a hot date Thursday night. Sounds good. The New Year, Waiting to Exhale, An Affair to Remember, Fruitvale Station. I don't know any, but it's a sobering drama, so we're not going to watch that on New Year's Day, Eve. New Year's Eve. There's a movie called New Year's Eve. Bronx-born filmmaker Gary Marshall loves the holiday. It's the only logical conclusion after scanning his body of work. Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve. It's got Josh Duhamel. I don't know who that is. Michelle Pfeiffer, Halle Berry, Jessica Biel, Zac Efron, and more. New Year's Eve. I think I remember New Year's Eve. Wasn't that like a superstar cast? And it was like a Love Actually, but in America. What are the two? How about Dark Star? It came out the same year as Star Wars. It's a sci-fi comedy. Is it a New Year's comedy, Larry? Are we doing two? I don't know. I don't know if I can sit here for that long. Sunset Boulevard is one option. At random, what did you say? Oh, Friday night, so you can come? Well, maybe we'll do another. Maybe we'll do two. Maybe we'll do a New Year's. I see you've been saying New Year's Day. You can't do something on Thursday. Okay, so maybe we do this Friday night instead. Diner, Poseidon, Sleepless in Seattle. That is a New Year's Eve one. Snowpiercer. Boogie Nights. I've never seen Boogie Nights. The Holiday with Emma Roberts and Luke Bracey. I thought we were doing this New Year's Eve. Are we doing this New Year's Day instead because it's a Friday and that's when we do movies? Guys? I would watch Scream. There's a lot of people that would not want to watch a horror movie. That being said, can I say Boogie again? Boogie Nights. Do I say Boogie weirdly? Nope, says at random. Okay. Can we do both days? I don't know. I have to check. I have to check with Kevin Lee Daughter and see if she's got some sort of plans for us. Oh, Caddyshack's such a classic. Caddyshack, maybe that's a February movie. No plans for Michelle either day. Maybe we'll do both days. I don't know. We'll work it out. Yeah, 200 cigarettes. Yeah, Rich, I'll show you. Let's see if I can pull it up again. Where is it? Can I get it again? Yeah, I can. Rich, 200 cigarettes, which is a New Year's Eve. We can get that movie if we want to watch that movie. It's not available for streaming, but we can't. Oh, that's interesting. We can pull that movie up. We can get the DVD for $115. But don't worry, we're not going to do that. We're going to get it used for $256. Right there. What? Do you remember this movie? I remember the movie. It's got Paul Rudd. It's got everybody. Kate Hudson, Gabby Hoffman, Angela Featherstone. Come on, Dave Chappelle. Look at the young Dave Chappelle in there. Look at this guy over here just creeping in on the side. See if we can identify people. That's got to be Ben Affleck. I don't know who Kate Hudson is. Who's this back here? I don't. Jay Marr's in there. Wow, Jay Marr used to be. He was on SNL for a while. I thought he was going to be an A-lister. He's a great guy. Does a wonderful, maybe top 3 Christopher Walkens. Everyone has a Christopher Walken impression. Jay's is at the top. I don't know why we don't see Jay Marr in more stuff. I don't understand why Jay Marr, with as many channels that are out there, I don't understand why Jay Marr doesn't have his own show. He's a very funny, talented guy, and he knows his start. Yeah, it is M-O-H-R, but I call him Marr. The used is the better deal. Yeah. What time do you do movie night? Usually 6 p.m. Pacific. I know that's late. It's usually too late for our brethren overseas, unfortunately. David's what? His comment? YouTube is being funny today anyway. Here, I'll show it. I can't. The Mary Sue, Kayleigh McEnally, Liar Who Lies. Hold on, I'll pull it up, David. Maybe because it's a website. Here is the website to which David is referring. Mary Sue, the Mary Sue. Kayleigh McEnany responds to accusations of lying the way most people breathe by going on Fox News and lying a bunch. Yes, she did. Here's the clip of Jake saying that.
To that about Trump
all the time. She can't acknowledge reality.
I noticed that about Trump aides on CNN. I mean, there were times in 2017 when Kellyanne Conway was on this network all the time. I remember interviewing her a few times and feel.
That's an idea for people in the room. At random, has suggested that maybe we do it earlier in the day. So you guys are what, 8 hours ahead in Europe right now? 7 or 8 hours, one of the two. So we could do like a 1 o'clock in the afternoon New Year's Day thing. Maybe do a New Year's Eve thing at 6, or maybe even earlier in the day. Should we do that, guys? What do you think? I know we've got a couple of people in Ireland in here. And then we've got, boy, it's getting late in the day. But we got Barb in Belgium. She would probably want to join us at some point. I haven't seen her in a few days, but then I haven't broadcasted much either. So, and it's been later in the day. 8 ahead in the UK, 9 ahead in Europe. Thank you, at random. Like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, is that a doable time? Sorry, 1 o'clock Pacific time would be 4 o'clock Eastern. Would be 8 o'clock in Ireland. Sorry, would be at random. What did you say? 7 and 8 or 8 and 9? Would be 9 o'clock in Ireland, which is doable. 10 o'clock in Europe. So our friends over in Germany, we've got a couple of people in Germany, a couple of people in Belgium. Now, is there anybody here right now in Australia or New Zealand? I don't want to upset anybody down there. You know, I don't know that anybody from Central Asia has ever checked in, so I don't know that we really need to accommodate them. But Sean, you could do 9 o'clock if we did 9 o'clock. Well, I see, then 9 o'clock, well, I mean, either way, I suppose if we start at 6 o'clock Pacific, that's 9 o'clock Eastern. We could celebrate, whenever we do it, you know what we could do? We could start like at 1 o'clock. No, we could start at 2 o'clock Pacific, which is then 5 o'clock Eastern, which is then 10 o'clock. And oh, no. Yeah, it would have to be 1 o'clock, I think, to reasonably accommodate everybody, because that's 10 o'clock in Central Europe, and that accommodates everybody there. Starting any later than that, and then we're actually cresting their midnight. But it might be fun to celebrate midnight, the New Year, with one of the channels over there. So if the movie's over, if it's one of the early movies, at like the older movies, those are short. Those are 90 minutes long. If that, 70 to 90 minutes is where you're going to be looking for those. If it's one of the newer movies, it's going to take a little while longer. But I'll do some thinking about it, and then producers can decide what we want. So what day is it, the 29th? Holy crap. Holy crap! 2020 is almost done! I'm looking forward to it because it means nothing. Nothing's going to change yet. It's going to be a while, kids. And things are going to get better before they get worse. Wait. Both. Yeah. So at random says, yeah. Who actually thinks anything will change? Yeah, because this is a different number on the year. That changes everything. So Green Room, you in if we do it earlier in the day? Like 9 o'clock your time? Can you do that? Oh, we are getting a new... Things will change come the 20th of January. That's when things will start getting better for a lot of reasons. But things will also continue to get worse until... But we'll have hope, at least. COVID will go down eventually, but we just found out today that, yes, the new form of the virus... the new variant of the virus is here in the United States. We knew that, but now it's confirmed. And that may explain, I think that we've already got it here in LA, which is why it's skyrocketing here. 70% more contagious, between 50 and 70. It's hard to quantify things like that. But it's bad. And here in LA, I think we're now at 1 in 60 people. Kevin Lee Daughter was trying to get a test. There are no tests available. Not today, not tomorrow, not the next day, not the next day, not the next day. You cannot schedule a COVID test anywhere near me. She's driving about, about 25 minutes to get the closest test. That's where she's having to go. And she's having to say, yes, I have a symptom. She doesn't have a symptom. She just wants a test to be on the safe side. And remember, back in March, President Trump, I'll tell you. There you go. Here.
Anybody that's what I would just say that we start.
Let me play it again.
Anybody that wants a test can get a test. That's what I would just say that we start.
And that was March. Anybody who wants a test can get a test. Cannot get a test in LA. And, okay. Well, just go wait at Dodger Stadium. You'll get in. No, you cannot schedule a test at Dodger Stadium right now. They're full. All of the days at Dodger, full. 2020 Netflix worth a watch. I don't know. I don't even know what that means. Come to Redondo or Torrance. Yeah, no, she's having to drive to either Sherman Oaks or North Hollywood. One of the two. She's getting it. So it's about a 25-minute drive from here. It's not the end of the world. Our car runs on hydrogen, so she's not burning gas. It's free, so that's good. And we can get it. I actually found her a place where she can get the rapid test, which I didn't think you could get unless you paid out of pocket, but we found a pharmacy that lets you do the rapid test. It has both rapid tests, by the way. It has the rapid antigen test and the rapid PCR test, which is the more accurate. But the rapid antigen test is accurate enough that's I think it's nuts. It's nuts. Boy, you know what? We would love to come down to Torrance, actually, because that's one of the rinks where we play hockey. Technically, Harbor City, I think, is where the rink is. But boy, are we missing hockey. She just sent me a TikTok of Santa skating around. Let's watch that. Can you get the vaccine if you pay out of pocket? No.
Feeling like each time.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Did we finish? We didn't finish watching this. Here we go.
Time, it was less valuable. Like I was getting less of value and substance each time. Did you have similar experiences? And you were doing it almost every week. And of course, except for the weeks the White House wouldn't provide any White House Trump administration guests. Did you feel like there were diminishing returns because you weren't getting the truth?
Well, there are some people that are such, they're just so mendacious, I just wouldn't put them on air. Kayleigh McEnany, I never booked her. Jason Miller from the Trump campaign. I would never book him. I mean, these are just people who they just tell lies the way that, most people breathe. And there was no value in that. I don't view Kellyanne Conway the same way. She was the senior advisor to the president. She was more of a filibusterer and a subject changer, I thought.
Yeah, subject changer. That's right. That's what she would do. Yeah.
Than a liar. And I think it's different. I really do. And there is a risk in just like lumping everybody together. There's a big difference between somebody like Kayleigh McEnany, who just like, this is what she does. She tells lies all the time. She can't acknowledge reality. So I'm just not going to put somebody like that on air.
And that's got Kayleigh McEnany very upset. But that's absolutely true. It's like there's nothing he said was wrong there. Subject hanger and filibusters that's a great way of describing them. I'll show you what Kevin Lee Daughter sent me today, because she misses ice so much. And I like for Christmas or something, like if I could find a cheap ice surface, it's almost worth going and working at an ice surface, but I don't even know if any of them are open right now. The thing is that they're probably open. Like you can rent them as a private rink, but the thing is you can't, it's expensive, and I don't have any money right now, and I just lost a week of unemployment.
Come on, you.
Oh, crap! I'm going to get a copyright strike for the music. So Santa is... Damn it! I wasn't even thinking about it. No, that's not me. That's a guy who actually looks like Santa. Hold on, I'm going to turn off the volume. I'll play the rest of it. Just hit the road before us and sing a chorus or two. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, let go. Wait, wasn't we were just singing that earlier today. That's why, because this song has been in my head all day. Someone is beeping me. What's going on? I got signals going nuts over here. Hold on. Maybe we'll do New Year's Day. Maybe we'll do New Year's. We'll do New Year's at. Okay, this is what we'll do. I'll check with Kevin Lee Daughter. Hold on. Oh, I got a serious question from Kevin Lee Daughter. I got to answer. I'll answer that when I'm done here. So you gave German Herman a timeout, Rich? You meanie. So I'll announce in the next couple of days what we're going to do. I'll send it out to the patrons. So if you're on Patreon, check in with me. If not, DM me if you haven't heard by New Year's Day what's going on. But maybe we'll do a New Year's Eve, like a noon or a 1 o'clock. And then maybe a New Year's Day Friday night movie. We'll do our what's become traditional Friday night movie. Maybe that's what we'll do. I don't know. Now I got to go edit out the music on YouTube. Otherwise, they're going to give me a copyright strike. So, guys, here's some closing credits. Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this hour and 14 minutes of frivolity. And we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Kevin, thanks for that.
Stop. Hey, Joanna, you can't be blowing Rich kisses. Rich has got a wife or something. His wife sees that, she's going to go nutso. Can't blow kisses, emoji kisses. Give him a smiley face or something. My goodness, producer Joanna. You've been quarantined for too long. Just hear those sleigh bells jingling, jing, jing, tingling, ting.